So just click record. All right. Welcome to the Node.js and API Working Group meeting for Monday, June 1st, 2020. If anybody has any announcements, please make them now. Going once, going twice. We have another attendee. Ah, yes, LegendaCast. He's here. Okay. Hello. We were just getting started with the meeting. So I guess since we have no announcements, might as well get to the agenda. So then, to get to the agenda, I will share my screen, which looks like this. And go to all right, and issues. There we go. And milestones. And milestone 11. Okie dokie. So next Node add-on API release is our first issue. Okay, we need to make one more 2.x release. Yep, we're going to be working on that real soon now. Right. Yeah. There's also yeah. So for 2.x, we actually have one more commit that we need to land. I have a PR that Anna requested that I make, so we can talk about that when we make the release. But is there anything else regarding this? If not, we'll move to the next issue. I guess we'll be working on that later today on making these releases. Okay, so transfer and API tutorials. How's that going, Jim?
It's going well, Gabriel. If you scroll down to the bottom, I've put a fresh link to a new website built with Gatsby. The issue that I was attempting to address with this particular one, if you'd like to, you could go ahead and click that link, Gabriel. Sure. Is the code embedding. So I now have the live code embedding. If you bring up, yeah, object rep might be a good one to look at. If you scroll down.
Well, this is live,
okay, right there.
The package JSON.
Yeah, if you look at the package JSON, that is actually being brought in from, yeah, if you click it, you can actually see the live code.
Nice.
In its context, in a working example. So
very cool.
I was very happy to get that going. So if you look over on the right, it gives you an index into the particular article that you're reading. I'm really pleased with what we've got going here.
Very cool.
So, you know, this has been my dream, is to bring in the live code that we can test each night, and then we'll have a great deal of confidence that the tutorials are actually working when people bring them up. So the one thing I'm working on now is search, and there are two ways to do that. One way is to use an external service that has an API that creates a dependency that we may or may not want to have. The Hexo tool that I was using earlier has a self-contained search capability. So I'm looking at those two options to see if I can get those going. But I'm pleased with this site, but I'm open to any suggestions or any comments that people have.
So just out of curiosity, the search extends to everything, not including the code, correct? Because the code is coming in from another site, or does it include the code as well? Just curious.
Yeah, I don't know, Gabriel. The Gatsby tool has a series of transformations that it makes. So it depends on whether the search is a transformation that happens after the code is included or before?
Or before, I see.
Yeah, so I won't know until I'm actually looking at the two tools.
Okay, no worries. All right, but this
Yeah,
is all very, very cool.
yeah, and then up at the top, um, there's a menu bar across the very top, and those
Yep.
are all live links to resources. So
Okay, yeah,
I think,
this is the doc, right?
yeah, go ahead
This
and,
is the
yeah,
repo. Yeah.
right, exactly. So I think when we get this published, it's going to be a really nice resource for people. It'll be
Yeah, certainly looks like it.
it'll be centrally located where people can find it, and it'll be really easy to maintain. It's just markdown documents.
Uh,
Very cool.
what
Uh,
to do? Can I?
oh,
Yeah, what do you think to insert the link for our YouTube? Yeah, for our talk at.
oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah, because the video is on YouTube.
okay.
And,
From interactive from
yeah, yeah,
okay. I will make a note of that, Nicola.
That's a good idea.
yeah. It's a good start
Yeah,
for this tutorial. Maybe I don't know, in the home page we can we can set this video, and yeah. It's we have this material. It's good to use.
I agree. That's a really good idea, Nicola.
Okay, this is very cool. Good work.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see then. Um, tracking issue. Okay, so tracking issue for modules. I noticed there's been some comment here.
Yeah, I think that it's mine.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because there is a binding written in Rust for an API. It's mm, yeah, it's a project that I follow, and now they moved on some new things, and yeah, it seems good. Um, so yeah, it's another binding because yeah, there is a neon and EON that yeah now has an API binding and the classical binding, but this has been written from scratch, and yeah, it's a new binding. And there are, I think, two or three native modules on npm that yeah has been implemented with this library.
Funny thing is, since we have these bindings now, right, that it's going to be even harder to track where an API is being used, right? Because the dependence of Node
Yeah.
on API are not all there is. We also need to track the dependence of NAPRS, right?
Yes, and maybe in a little nappy, go nappy.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we need to track considering all these alternatives, no?
Yep.
But this is the beauty of an API because it's a C API and you can import C code in any programming languages.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, this is yeah. Um, uh, mm, yeah. Very good thing because open the way to use an API in everywhere. So yeah.
Yep. Very cool. All right. So this is a good development. All right, so now let's see. Module owner raised issues. All righty then. What were some of the latest ones? Okay. Well, this is fairly old in terms of comments, but let's have a look at some of the issues. So we've had some incoming stuff. Okay, make callback movable. All right. Oh boy. Okay, this is a fairly complex issue. Have to have a deeper look at this. Hmm. Yeah. Yes, this is how we do it. Oh. Oh boy. Okay, so this is, yeah, we need to look at the failure paths more often. All right. Yep, definitely an issue to study. Now let's see if we have any others that we can look at. Oh yeah, so yeah, I've been able to reproduce this to some extent, although when was this? There's a, I think there's a fix for this. I wrote a, let me see just a second. Let's see, I had it open here and it was still failing, but I forget. Yeah, we've had some issues. Wait, what am I doing? There. We've had some issues recently where, no, just go like that. Okay, so here it is. Here is the failure. Okay, yeah, so this, okay, all right, so this failure that is being reported, this is probably to do with this failure to create a handle, if I remember correctly. Did we get an output here? Yes. Okay. Good. All right. So this issue where we're going to have a resolution for, because this is an issue in core where a handle scope is not being created for finalizers. We've been working on that for the past, I think, 2 weeks or so. So this will soon have a resolution, and then we're going to have to start backporting it. And actually, an interesting question is whether we should fix this in Node.js on API as well, or whether we should just let the fix coming from Node.js from the core. So we'll see how the backporting happens, and yeah, I guess it may be worth creating a fix in Node add-on API, because people use Node add-on API with versions of Node which are not necessarily the latest, right? And so if we fix this in core, that's great and all, right? Even if we backport it to all LTS versions, that's very good. But the version just before the backport landed will not have this fix and will still have this error. So I don't know. It's very simple. Basically, you need to, and I'm not even sure if this can be fixed in Node add-on API. So we'd have to look into that. Basically, the idea is before you call the finalizer callback provided by the user, you have to declare a handle scope. Otherwise, if they do any sort of engine operations with JavaScript objects, it will crash because there is no handle scope. So Michael is fixing this in core, but I was wondering if we should also maybe provide a fix, because people use older versions of Node, and so if they build their add-on against an older version, then that won't have this fix in core, and so we might want to add the fix in Node add-on API for the finalizer. So do you guys have an opinion on that? Should we add a fix, or should we just wait for core to fix it and then point people to please upgrade your node to the latest version which has the fix? Which one do you think would be best?
I think that we need to guarantee that all work good, even if in all, Node.js version, so that we support, no? I think that we need to try to fix in Node.js API. It's the best solution for me, but when we will have but this solution need to work with the version of Node that does not don't have the fix, and the new version that will have the fix.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's not a problem, right? Because you can declare any number of handle scopes, right? So that's fine. But the problem is the two problems are how will it impact performance, right? Because now we're adding an extra handle scope. It should not be that much, but still one thing that we should check. And the other thing is, when do we remove this, right? Like, when do we remove this from the code? Because we know we won't need it forever. So basically, when we stop supporting like Node 14, that's when we can remove it from the code, because we know that there are some versions of Node 14 out there where this is broken, right? Mm-hmm. So essentially, when Node 14 takes the place of Node 10 in terms of like maintenance, and then we drop it, then we can drop this fix. So this will be a very, very, very long to do. Yeah. So these are the two problems I see with it. So okay, so this is a bit of an investigation that we have to do to see what the impact is if we also add a handle scope to our finalizer, and that's assuming that control even passes to our finalizer, right? If this crashes before control passes to our finalizer, then we can do nothing, right? Because it crashes before we have a chance to declare a handle scope. So yeah, so these are some of the things that we're going to have to look at. Okay, so that is this issue. This is actually a pretty big thing going on in both core and in our repo. All right, so having spoken about that, so at least I've confirmed that that is the error we're talking about. This is the error we're looking for, so to speak. Can we use client stub? Okay, so we've looked at this before. I'm not sure how much of this has moved forward. Right. Okay. Okay, right. Okay. All right. Okay. Yes, I owe this person a comment. I guess I'll leave this open. So, all right, that's good. Somebody asking for guidance on how to build add-ons. Perfect. Okay. Oh yeah, this thing. I guess there's been no movement on this. Is this the Electron issue?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. I'll leave this to them. It seems like it's being discussed. All right. This one, we have had some issues with that.
I don't know if we already have a PR.
Yeah, cannot create the handle. Yes, you have very good stack trace. Yeah, this is the same issue. Yes, 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 yes. This is that issue. Yeah. Okay, so this is basically, all right. I don't know. Let me. I guess it is kind of a duplicate.
Maybe we can mark as
Duplicate.
a duplicate or related to the other issue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. As this guy.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And it will be fixed. And yeah, I guess we'll have a look at whether we can do it in Node on API as well. Okay, provided.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I just had an idea. Since we're using this issue to lead with, let's do. Is the upstream fix being mentioned here? If not, then we should link that in. In today's API meeting, we discussed that although okay, let's see, GitHub Node polls. Well, actually, this is Michael's poll, so copy link address. We'll fix this in core and will most likely be backported to all MTS versions. We should investigate whether we are able to also fix this in Node add-on API, because folks may not necessarily be running the latest of one of the LTS versions. We need to make sure that declaring declaring an additional handle scope does not impact performance too much. I don't even know if we have a benchmark for that, right? Because we need a benchmark where you create lots of wrapped objects and you finalize them a lot of times, right? Because we want to make sure like the most intensive use case is the one where you create lots of these wrapped objects, right? And then you have lots of objects to finalize, and so the garbage collector will be really busy. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing to measure. Okay, so there's that. And with that, we move on. Okay, where were we? Provide, okay, Sigurboard, yes, provide definition file. Okay, Nicola, what's up with this one?
Yeah, I'm working on this, and this week I built an native add-on using GCC. Yeah, just to validate the method provided by the reporter of the issue, and it worked on Windows. After I will add a comment about this, and I found tool written in Python that parse the C file and could give me the symbol, no, the function that is exported, and yeah, then I need to create a module that use this tool. I think, and I don't want to create. I start thinking that it could be useful to return a list of symbols and not only the node.def file, because maybe I don't know if you are in another operating system or that does not use that file, but need the list of the symbols. You can build this the file that you need at runtime, no? So you print and then maybe you create the file that you need.
So okay, so but this will add a dependency on this Python script, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, because
so okay, so,
I
so
cannot able to find anything good that help me to parse C code in JavaScript or
yeah.
yeah. So if you know some tools that would be useful, yeah, I'm good. I'm to test. Mm, yeah,
Jim,
but
weren't you working on some tooling that would use like the libclang to basically uh, sort of create an AST for any given C file? Do you know if there's some tools out there that might give us that so that we can like parse like the JS native API.h and Node API.h? Because I mean, we could do it with just like grep and awk because they are fairly consistent, right? And we could just look for functions which are exported using nappy extern, right? But to be completely correct, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Grep and awk are fairly roughshod tools for that.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know if there's a better one?
That's, that's something I could look at, Gabriel. I had not thought about that at all.
Okay, well, no worries. I mean,
Yeah.
I was just wondering since you had mentioned that you were looking at using libclang
Yeah.
and the ASTs that it produces, maybe you ran across something
uh, I, I,
while
I
doing that.
I have no experience about this, but if you can help me, I can try because the idea is like you proposed last week, no? Use a repo
Yes.
that build something, no, parsing the new version of JS native.h and Node API.h, and then these maybe could create a JSON file and then we can yeah, you can use this JSON file, or maybe you can we can implement a module that yeah check the version of an API that you are on that you have on your system and download the right JSON file and then print it. So this is what I'm working on this.
Okay, so this is sort of a very,
Yeah.
very rough. This is a
Yeah,
very, very rough way of doing it.
thank you.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how correct this is, right? Because if you do, you know, I mean, it's obviously correct now, but if you look at these, right, like you can these can be on two different lines, right? So that's when it starts to get complicated. Is because like you can say nappy x or nappy status and then put nappy create type error underneath it, right? Like we don't do that everywhere, but we might do it in some places because I suspect that some of these empty lines that we're getting are those kind of, see, like for example this one, we're missing this function now because there's nothing here after nappy x or nappy status. There is nothing.
Yeah.
So that's why the best way is to do it using a proper tool, right? But for now, I think we can approximate this with this one, because you know this just prints out the third field, right? So if there is a third field, then it will print it. So then you have like $1, $2, $3, right? But what if there is no $3, right? Then you have to say, okay, then look at the next line and take the first field from the next line and that kind of thing. So it can get a little bit complicated, but we might be able to cover it for now with this, and with that added thing where you like, you know, if you can do something like if number of fields less than 3, then you do something else, you do this, you know. So you know, you can add some stuff in here and then you know, just get the functions that way, and it would be a good approximation, which may be good enough for now. But ultimately we'll want a proper tool which actually does analyze the C code as it should.
Could
So
I ask, yeah, could you comment on the issue with this example? So
yeah,
I
sure.
can, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so there we go. So you
So
want
I
this,
can,
I guess, for JS native, and you also want it for Node API.
yeah.
Okay. Is this going to be too long? No, it's not. Okay. How was that again? I think it was like this. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
All right. So happy awking, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So there's that. So now let's continue with the issues. All right. So that was this one. Tips for integration with managed C hash code. Okay. I have no tips because I don't know anything about C hash, but let's see if anybody else had some good ideas. You had some good ideas. So let's
Uh,
see. Or
I don't know C sharp, but
oh,
yeah, it will be my next project, the binding with C
with
sharp.
C hash, yeah. Okay, I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah. So okay, to implement business add-on in C hash between. Okay, yeah. Yeah, this is a very good comment. Yeah, well covered. Yeah. So basically, I mean, I don't know. Is C sharp able to load C APIs? Because if so, then you know, then we have
Yes.
a solution.
I checked, and I asked to my friend that used C sharp.
Yeah.
It's too complicated than Rust and Go and Swift. So yeah, but it's possible.
Okay.
Essentially, it's always possible. In my experience, it but what changes the difficult? Because some FFI is too simple, no, and don't give you the right support, no, and yeah, you need to write um, uh, custom code, you know. Instead, maybe in Rust, you can do the all using a tool that is called
Right.
Big Dan, you know, for example. In Go, it's yeah, you have some tools, but I don't like them, and yeah, I did all by hand. And in Swift, yeah, you have all the support because yeah, Swift code import Objective-C that is a dialect of C, and yeah, it has a great support, you know, by default. Sometimes the programming language does not have a great support by default, and you need to write your many
Yeah.
code. Yeah, many boilerplate code. Yeah, sorry.
Right. Okay, I see. I see. Okay, yeah, but yeah, basically, yeah, if you can call a C function, then because
Yeah,
I'm thinking like that we need like the C sharp folks, they would need like basically the equivalent of Node add-on API, but written
yeah,
in C sharp. And
sharp.
so
Yes.
that's something they have to make for themselves, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Unless we decide we want to support C sharp, for which I don't think we have the resources right now.
Yeah, but
But
for example, Unity is works in C sharp, so yeah, it's used a lot in the industry in general.
aha, okay. Well, then yeah, that might be something to consider. Um, but anyway, so I guess that's what this issue is about. All right, so, which is interesting because you know if they want an API in C sharp and Unity is written in C sharp, then it might there might be some work underway to add Node.js to Unity in some way, which would be cool if they
Yeah,
haven't already in some way.
and the best thing that I saw until now is Babylon native.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. That's right. Yeah,
because they have the implementation of an API for JavaScript core and
yeah.
Spider Monkey, and yeah, it's beautiful. So I'm trying to joke until now with Quick.js to create something with an API, but it's just some experiments for now.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah, it's
yeah, this
Quick.js is I know it's a new JavaScript engine used on an embedded system, like JavaScript, for example.
yeah.
And I know that you did for JavaScript, and I won't try to do this for Quick.js.
Cool. Yeah, yeah. By all means, that sounds good. Okay. So let's see then. Binding factory static methods.
I think that this is correlated with object wrap using the static property. Yeah? No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I don't understand why
No,
this
no,
is.
no, sorry.
That I'm surprised. Binding factory static methods. I've been following. Unable to create bindings for static methods to factory methods. One that construct the class itself. Oh, I see. Construct the class itself. So okay, so this is another level of sort of indirection, right? If I understood this correctly. So this person is generating JavaScript classes at runtime, right?
Okay.
Yeah, because yeah, okay. So if that's the case, then yeah, then object wrap is not for them because object wrap is sort of the class itself is defined at compile time, right?
Yeah.
And you create the you call the yeah you create the you define the class once, and then you call it any number of times because you store the constructor somewhere, hopefully in a context aware fashion.
Okay.
But calling define class multi, well, you could, I mean, you have like the colon init method, and you can call that any number of times, couldn't you? Right? But then, yeah, I guess you could, right? Let's have a look.
And
Hey, what object wrap? So there is no reason why you couldn't call this function more than once, right? And you can pass in the name of the class here. Right? What do you think? We should be able to just call this method several times, right? And instead of like env exports, you can just have it return an API object, and then you just call define class, and then you pass in the name. So
yeah.
I don't see that should be okay. All right, where was that? Yeah, okay, this one. So let me give like a preliminary comment.
Yeah, you need the function that take as
Yeah,
parameter the name, and then it's a factor, it's a factory function that
yeah.
return to you the yeah.
Uh, and then we have we could do nappy nappy object init nappy env, right? And then maybe const car star name. What am I doing there? And like define class. And now, how does that look like? Define class env name and then the thing. Okay, env. Wait, what was it? Env name and then the thing, right? Yes, env name and then the init. Env name there, and then you would say return, and then there's no dot 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 here. Okay.
Init is a static method, right?
Sorry?
Init is a
Yes, 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 it's static. You're right. Sorry. Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty reasonable. Okay. So we've looked at this one as well. Hopefully gave a useful tip. Okay, there's that document. That object doesn't work. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a doc issue. All right, I think we should probably move to the core repo because we're getting bogged down here and we're running low on time. So that was this one. So then in Node repo, let's have a look at the Node repo one. So HPS, GitHub, Node issues, labels, and API. Okay, so this is a cool one. we're starting to see the impact of WASM, which is really cool. Okay, so this here, this is the one I landed. It kind of cleans things up for Michael so that he has an easier time. Well, it was going to clean things up for Michael so he has an easier time landing this, but it turns out that our use of scopes is fairly like fairly specific to the call site, and so we can't really unify scopes as much as we'd like. And so he simply just added a handle scope where it's needed, and so this should be pretty much ready to go. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I guess it needs a few more approvals, but since it's 11 days old, it can probably land even without. And basically, it's very simple, and it should fix things for everybody. Just add a handle scope here, and that's it before you call into the finalizer. But yeah, it has a big impact. So hopefully we'll get this trickling through the releases soon. So then this one is a documentation issue. We've asked for a PR, and hopefully Macintosh will have the time to create one. This one is, yeah, this one is kind of a complicated thing. It turns out that we can't really do deadlock detection. There's no really good way of doing it. So we've changed the docs to basically say that, avoid deadlocks. don't call
Okay.
the thread safe function from the main thread in a blocking fashion, because that might cause deadlocks.
Yeah.
If we can find a better mechanism in the future for detecting them, then we have the nappy wood deadlock status now, because we've introduced it and we've released it, and therefore we cannot remove it because that would be semver major, right? So we've left it in there, but we've marked it as unused until we can find a good way of actually returning that from the call. So it's just kind of sitting there. Okay, so let's see, anything else? Buffer and API. Okay, so yeah, okay, this is the ongoing saga with buffers and their backing stores. This has already landed, so that's good. Let's see, anything else that's open. Okay, this one I believe is the same as this one here. I've been trying to work with this, and it's really hard to reproduce because you pretty much touch anything and it will no longer segfault. So it's really hard to sort of track down what's going on. I've been trying. All right, open stuff. Okay, just another backport. Yeah, I think we're doing pretty well there. Okay, so Lucas, you're still working on this, I'm assuming. Is
Yeah.
there anything outstanding there?
He's off the call.
Oh, he's gone. Okay, I've been looking at the shared screen. I haven't seen. All right. Well, I guess. Well, then might as well look into it a little bit for him. Okay, so yeah, there's that. That's one of the things that is open, and this is. I'll open these three then. so. Yes, right. From the async context. Okay, right. Yeah, we were talking about this. Wait, what am I doing? Don't, too many tabs. Come on. Interesting. It removes these things. Holy cow, okay, that's a big modification. Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah. That's right. Okay, good. Right. Okay, well, yeah, that's a pretty big change. But yeah, we do have that ambiguity with the context and the receiver. Okay, so then, wait, what? Okay, async init. Okay, right. Oh wow, this thing has really taken off. Exactly. Okay, good. All right, so Lucas is working on this. Good to know. All right, so then, yeah, where was that? Here. I think that was about it for major issues. This is the stuff that's going on currently. Yeah, everything's pretty much closed. Okay, this stuff is just lingering. Yep, and that. Okay. Okay, so let's go back hither. Node.js, I don't know, I haven't checked on it recently.
Neither I. I think that it's the same.
Okay, all right, well, yeah, that's gonna be a big one. But we leave it to them. Okay, so tested methods, guess you were busy with the other things last week, right? So this one is, yeah. I don't even know if we should close this one because we really don't have a time for it. Enable debug testing. Oh yeah, this is a new one that we need to look at. Okay, so I have a PR in progress that tests in worker threads, but not in debug mode. Yeah, this is a CI issue, I think, is to enable debugging testing. Okay, so I guess that's it. So if anybody has anything else they would like to raise, then please do so. Otherwise, we have 5 minutes to do with as we please. So I'm gonna stop sharing. There's been a chat. Okay. Okay, so if there's nothing, then we can just talk again next week, and Nicola and Michael will do the release right in about 5 minutes. So other than that.
Okay, so see you on Twitter and.
Yeah, we'll set something up for the release.
Okay, we need to make 2 releases today.
Yeah.
172 and 201.
If all goes well, yes.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about that in the next one. All right, so talk to y'all later.
All right, guys.
Bye, Jay.
Bye. Talk to you next week.
Yep. Bye.